Good morning, everyone. And as looking around, you can probably guess you're not everyone, because there are some people who are still on their way. I know there are some traffic problems and train and tube problems, so that may be it. But you all got here in time, so we should get started. My name is Rennie Fritchie, and I'm chair of the board of Nominet. And it's my enormous pleasure to welcome everyone here today. Nominet is very, very pleased to be sponsoring today's event, which forms part of the preparations for the Global IGF in Istanbul in September. So I should be saying, Merhaba Efendi, nasılsınız? Which is good morning and how are you in Turkish. It's my misspent youth. I lived there in the 60s for about 2 years, so at the drop of a hat, I'm very keen to demonstrate I can count up from 1 to 10 and buy fruit in the market. So for those of us who go together to Istanbul, I'll be showing off again. Nominet is just one of the many organizations that have been involved in today's meeting. And I'd like to thank all of the UK IGF committee, session organizers, moderators, and speakers that have been involved in planning the organization of today's meeting. And a special mention also needs to go to ISOC England, who are generously facilitating today's remote participation. For those of us who were at ICANN last week, was it only last week, we recognize that IGF is more important now than ever before. It provides a much-needed space for governments, industry, and civil society to share understanding on internet governance issues. It allows an opportunity for us to share and discuss information with a range of stakeholders that we might otherwise not have the opportunity to engage with in this way. The IGF helps us all to learn from one another, to understand issues in a deeper way, and to understand them from other people's points of view, not just to debate issues, but to really understand why people have the position they have, and to have a deeper understanding, and that way to contribute to making better decisions. Support from successive ministers does help to underline the importance that government gives to promoting multi-stakeholder dialogue on internet governance issues. My own background is one of governance. In fact, I was once for 7 years a regulator of the government. So I'm one of the few people who find governance absolutely fascinating. But I know it may not be so to many, but it's now crucially important to all of us. I'm pleased to see that the Minister Ed Vaizey will be joining us later this morning, and I'd like to, although he's not in the room, thank him and recognize him for his continued personal support and the support of DCMS, and for the work of the IGF and for the UK IGF. We have a wide range of key topics on today's agenda, and our 3 parallel workshop sessions later this morning have all been coordinated with members of the community. The first workshop session will examine the impacts and possible ways forward following the announcement from the US National Telecommunications and Information Administration of its intention to transition its oversight role of the coordination of the administration of the DNS system, the IANA function. The second workshop is concerned with the governance of cybersecurity and has been coordinated by BCS. This session will seek the views of delegates on additional areas where the UK could lead a debate on practical solutions for improving internet security. And our final workshop session has been coordinated by ISOC England and will examine the next steps for the provision of IPv6 names in the UK. As well as the workshop sessions, we'll have a morning and afternoon plenary session. The UK is often cited as setting a precedent for network filtering by other countries, and this afternoon's plenary session will examine various network filtering solutions and how we position ourselves internationally on this topic. As we move into the second half of what has been a very busy year for internet governance, now is an appropriate time for us to take stock. Our opening panel discussion will assess the developments so far following the Net Mundial conference in Brazil, and also look forward to the future about how we want things to continue to develop. Certainly in my, what civil servants would call in the margin of the meetings conversations at ICANN last week, people were busy talking about, with a different kind of energy and a different kind of interest and a different kind of urgency, about some of the things that we really do need to think about together and come to a common view or understand where the differences are in order to be able to move forward. Before I hand over to this panel, I just want to finish with a short housekeeping point. I mentioned earlier how the IGF provides an opportunity for discussion, and we're delighted to have a representation from such a broad range of stakeholders who are here today, and I thank you very much for giving up your time to be here today and take part. This UK IGF event is about dialogue. It's about engaging with you, hearing your views, understanding your interests, your concerns, your visions. So with this in mind, we're looking forward to everyone's active involvement in the topics. So please use the microphones and speak up. And please, if you have things you want to make comments about that you'd like to see done differently or better, if you have any suggestions as to how it might be done, let's hear what they are. So welcome to this meeting of UK IGF. I hope we'll have a fruitful and interesting day, and I know we'll have some useful debate that will then help to contribute to the discussions of the next IGF meeting in Istanbul in September. So thank you, and asmaladik, which is Turkish for goodbye. So I hand over now to the panel and the next item on the agenda. Thank you.